High Admiral Zextal stood before the massive holographic display aboard the Craxus Empire's flagship, the Eternal Dominion. His crystalline exoskeleton refracted the soft blue light as he studied the images of Earth, a planet that had captured the Empire's attention for all the wrong reasons. "Play the transmissions again," he commanded, his secondary eyes focusing on the data streams, while his primary set remained fixed on the planet's image. The ship's AI compiled with his request, filling the chamber with a cascade of human broadcasts, entertainment shows, social media feeds, viral videos, and endless streams of what the Empire's analysts had classified as non-essential communications. "Fascinating," muttered Science Director Naira, her tentacles writhing with curiosity as she manipulated the data streams. They dedicate nearly 80% of their global network capacity to entertainment and social interaction. Their military channels occupy less than 5% of their total communications. Zextal's mandibles clicked in what passed for amusement among his species. "They're practically defenseless. Look at their orbital installations. Communication satellites, weather monitoring, and primitive observation platforms. No weapons arrays, no defense screens, not even basic planetary shields." The science director's tentacles coiled thoughtfully. Yet they've achieved remarkable technological progress in just the last century. Their rate of advancement exceeds any species we've encountered. "Progress without purpose," Zextal dismissed. "They waste their potential on frivolous pursuits. Their most powerful computing networks are used for something called social media and gaming. Their greatest minds work on entertainment devices instead of weapons." But Naira wasn't convinced. "Admiral, I must point out some concerning anomalies. Their technological development pattern is unlike anything in our records. They leap forward in seemingly random directions, often making breakthroughs in civilian sectors that could have military applications." "Show me," Zextal demanded. The holographic display shifted, showing a timeline of human technological advancement. Notice how their space program began as a military competition, then shifted to scientific exploration. Their global communication network started as a military project, but evolved into a civilian infrastructure. They consistently transform military technology into civilian applications, and vice versa. Zextal waved a crystalline arm dismissively, which only proves they lack focus and discipline. The Empire has conquered 12 star systems by maintaining absolute military superiority. We don't waste resources on civilian luxuries. "That's just it, Admiral," Naira persisted. "Humans don't seem to distinguish between military and civilian technology the way we do. Their entertainment devices use advanced AI. Their commercial satellites carry sophisticated sensing equipment. Their civilian research facilities often surpass their military labs in innovation." But the Admiral had made his decision. The Empire's doctrine was clear: strike potential threats before they could become actual threats. Humanity's rapid technological progress made them dangerous, even if they didn't realize it themselves. Their lack of unified military focus made them vulnerable. "Prepare the invasion fleet," he commanded. "We'll strike their military installations first, then their government centers. Without centralized leadership and defense capabilities, they'll surrender quickly." Another elegant victory for the Empire. Science Director Naira's tentacles twisted in agitation. "Admiral, I recommend further study. There's something about their technological development pattern that suggests—" "The decision is made." Zextal cut her off. "The Empire didn't become the dominant force in this sector by hesitating. Humanity will learn what real power looks like, not these games and entertainment they waste their time on." As the invasion fleet assembled in the shadow of Earth's moon, no one aboard the Eternal Dominion noticed a small civilian weather satellite that had detected unusual gravitational anomalies. The satellite's AI, designed by a gaming company to predict virtual weather patterns in online worlds, began analyzing the distortions. It uploaded its findings to a cloud server used primarily for sharing cat videos and memes. In a suburban garage in Seattle, Dr. Sarah Chen's phone buzzed with an alert from her weather tracking app. The former NASA scientist, now developing physics engines for video games, glanced at the notification and froze. The pattern recognition algorithm she designed to track virtual storm systems had detected something impossible: gravitational waves that shouldn't exist in nature. As she began analyzing the data, the Craxis Empire's invasion fleet finalized their attack plans, completely unaware that humanity's wasteful civilian technology had already detected their presence. The Empire's first mistake was about to cascade into an avalanche of miscalculations that would reshape their understanding of what truly constitutes military power. Little did Admiral Zextel know, but his dismissal of human entertainment and civilian technology would prove to be the Empire's greatest strategic blunder. The coming war would teach them that innovation knows no boundaries between civilian and military applications, and that a species that can turn social media algorithms into battle analysis systems might be more formidable than anyone could imagine. The first wave of the Craxis invasion struck at dawn. Military bases worldwide went dark as crystalline ships emerged from stealth, their energy weapons cutting through Earth's most advanced defense systems like paper. Admiral Zextal watched with satisfaction as humanity's military infrastructure crumbled. But in Seattle, Dr. Sarah Chen wasn't watching the destruction. She was coding. Her fingers flew across 3 keyboards as she repurposed her gaming company's neural network, designed to create realistic NPC behaviors, into something new. The algorithm that once predicted player strategies in competitive games now analyzed alien attack patterns. Dr. Chen, her assistant, burst into the lab. "The military, they're getting destroyed." "The military isn't our only defense," Sarah replied without looking up. "How many gaming rigs do we have in the building?" "About 200 in the testing lab, but..." "Get them all running. We're going to network them together. The same processing power we use to render virtual worlds can model alien shield frequencies." Across the country, in Boston's tech corridor, Dr. Marcus Wong stared at his phone in disbelief. The former DARPA researcher, now CTO of a social media company, watched as his company's pattern recognition AI, originally designed to detect viral trends, identified something extraordinary in the alien attack formations. "They're predictable," he muttered. "Their tactics follow rigid protocols, just like a computer program following strict rules." He immediately began repurposing his company's behavior prediction algorithms, designed to suggest social media content, to anticipate alien fleet movements. The Craxis Empire's second wave struck at noon, targeting power plants and communication hubs. But this time, something was different. Some targets were empty, evacuated minutes before the strikes. Admiral Zextal's crystalline form shimmered with agitation as reports came in. "Impossible," he hissed. "How did they know where we would strike?" Science Director Naira's tentacles writhed nervously. "Admiral, we're detecting unusual signal patterns. The humans are using their entertainment networks to coordinate." In Chicago, teenage hacktivist Maya Rodriguez had just finished adapting her cryptocurrency mining network into a distributed computing system. The same processors that once mined digital currency now work to crack alien communication codes. She'd released the program as open source, and within hours, millions of gaming computers worldwide joined the effort. "It's beautiful," she whispered, watching the data flow. "They thought our gaming rigs were just for fun." The third wave of attacks met with even more surprises. When Craxis ships fired on a major tech company's headquarters in California, their energy weapons were absorbed by a shield system that shouldn't have existed. Inside the building, engineers who once designed mobile phone screens had repurposed their quantum dot display technology into energy-deflecting barriers. Admiral Zextal's exoskeleton turned a pale shade of gray, a sign of extreme stress among his species. How are they adapting so quickly? Their military was primitive. "Admiral," Naira's voice carried a note of revelation. "I don't think we're fighting their military anymore." She was right. Humanity's response wasn't coming from its armed forces, it was coming from everywhere else. Video game developers turned their physics engines into weapon targeting systems. Social media companies transformed their trending algorithms into battle coordination networks. Streaming services became command and control centers. In a converted warehouse in Detroit, Dr. James Carter, a former NASA engineer turned virtual reality developer, led a team creating something unprecedented. They'd taken their VR motion tracking technology and reversed it, creating a system that could predict Craxus ship movements based on gravitational distortions. Their technology is advanced, he told his team, but it's inflexible. They built their empire on rigid military doctrine. We built our society on adaptation and creativity. The Craxus Empire had expected to fight soldiers. Instead, they found themselves facing game developers, social media engineers, and teenage hackers. Every civilian technology they had dismissed as frivolous entertainment was being transformed into a weapon. As the fourth wave of attacks faltered, Admiral Zextal received a report that made his crystalline form vibrate with disbelief. The humans had begun reverse engineering Craxus technology, not in military labs, but in gaming companies and tech startups. They weren't just adapting, they were innovating. "Admiral," Naira said softly, "I believe we made a serious miscalculation. Their civilian technology wasn't a sign of weakness. It was their strength all along. They don't separate military and civilian innovation. They blend them together in ways we never imagined possible." In her Seattle lab, Dr. Chen smiled as her network of gaming computers cracked another Craxus shield frequency. Her screen showed thousands of similar breakthroughs happening worldwide, as humanity's entertainment technology transformed into a defense network more flexible and innovative than anything the Empire had encountered in 12 conquered star systems. The invasion that was supposed to last days had turned into a war of innovation, and humanity was just getting started. Their greatest weapons weren't in military bases. They were in gaming cafes, tech startups, and teenage bedrooms. The Empire was about to learn that underestimating civilian technology was the greatest military blunder of all. 1 month into the invasion, Silicon Valley had transformed. The gleaming tech campuses that once hosted social media companies and search engines now hummed with different energy. Inside what used to be VideoVive's headquarters, a streaming platform known for viral dance challenges, Dr. Marcus Wong stood before a wall of holographic displays. "Show me the neural network's latest prediction," he called out. The AI that once recommended viral videos now displayed probable attack vectors of Craxus ships. Red lines crisscrossed a global map, each representing potential invasion corridors based on analyzed patterns. "They're adapting to our predictions," noted his colleague, Dr. Aisha Patel, former gaming AI researcher. "But not fast enough. Their tactical algorithms are too rigid, like they're running on outdated software that can't be patched." In the corridor outside, teenagers who had once been TikTok influencers now coordinated global defense networks. Their expertise in managing viral information flows proved invaluable in spreading tactical updates worldwide. The Empire had expected to fight soldiers. Instead, they faced a generation that had grown up manipulating information at the speed of light. Meanwhile, in Tokyo, the headquarters of Global Gaming Corporation had become humanity's primary weapons development facility. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, who had designed physics engines for battle royale games, now led a team developing something unprecedented. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. She explained to a group of international scientists over a secure virtual conference. "Our game servers were designed to track millions of player interactions simultaneously. We've repurposed that technology to predict and counter Craxus weapon frequencies in real time." The conference itself ran on a modified gaming chat platform, now the backbone of global military communications after traditional channels were compromised. Teenage Minecraft server administrators had turned out to be humanity's best defense against alien cyber attacks, their experience dealing with griefers and hackers proving surprisingly relevant. Admiral Zextal's situation room aboard the Eternal Dominion painted a disturbing picture. Human resistance wasn't just surviving, it was evolving. Every defeated defense spawned 3 new innovations. Every cracked human code was replaced by something more complex. Their adaptation rate exceeds our tactical projections, reported his strategic AI. They're using distributed computing networks we can't trace. Every human entertainment device is now potentially a military asset. Science director Naira's tentacles twisted in what might have been admiration. They're not following any military doctrine we understand. They're crowdsourcing military innovation through civilian channels. Look at this. The display showed a human platform called GitHub, where millions of programmers were openly sharing code for anti-Craxus weapons. What seemed like chaos to Imperial observers was actually rapid, decentralized innovation. Their strength, Naira continued, isn't in their military infrastructure. It's in their ability to transform anything into a weapon. They're taking gaming computers, social media algorithms, and entertainment networks, and creating military applications we've never imagined. In a repurposed movie studio in Hollywood, special effects artists who once created space battles for films now use their expertise to develop holographic countermeasures against Craxus targeting systems. Their understanding of visual deception, honed through years of creating movie magic, proved devastating against alien sensors. Dr. Sarah Chen's gaming network had expanded beyond Seattle, now encompassing millions of gaming computers worldwide. Each gaming rig, originally built to render virtual worlds, now contributed processing power to crack Craxus encryption and model defense strategies. We're not just fighting back, she explained to a former game streamer turned defense coordinator. We're changing the rules of engagement. The Empire expected us to fight like they do, with dedicated military hardware and traditional command structures. Instead, we're fighting like gamers, adaptive, creative, and always looking for unexpected solutions. In India, a team led by Dr. Rajesh Kapoor had transformed a smartphone manufacturer's production line into a shield generator facility. The quantum dot technology originally developed for phone screens now powered defensive barriers against Craxus energy weapons. Each civilian technology offers a potential military application, he explained to visiting officials. Our advantage isn't in matching their military might. It's in our ability to repurpose everything we have into something they've never seen before. The Empire's strategic AI systems, designed to counter traditional military responses, struggle to adapt to humanity's chaotic innovation. How do you predict an enemy that turns social media trending algorithms into battlefield analysis tools? How do you counter a species that can reorganize its entire technological infrastructure in weeks? In her lab, Dr. Chen received an alert from her network. A teenager in Lagos had just used machine learning algorithms from a dating app to predict Craxus patrol patterns. A group of K-pop fans had transformed their social media coordination experience into a global early warning system. A food delivery app's routing algorithm had been repurposed to coordinate guerrilla strikes against Imperial forces. This is why we're winning, she smiled, watching the innovation spread across her screens. They thought our entertainment technology made us weak. They never understood that anything can be a weapon if you're creative enough to reimagine its purpose. The war had entered a new phase. Humanity wasn't just resisting. They were revolutionizing warfare itself. And the Craxus Empire, for all its military might, found itself facing an enemy that turned every defeat into an opportunity for innovation, every setback into a catalyst for creativity. 3 months into the war, the first captured Craxus ship landed in what used to be an Amazon fulfillment center outside Phoenix. Dr. James Carter, leading the reverse engineering team, couldn't help but appreciate the irony. A facility that once sorted packages now hosted humanity's most advanced research project. Their technology is like their tactics, he explained to the assembled team of engineers. Powerful but inflexible. They built everything to serve a single purpose. They never considered the possibilities of adaptation. The team included video game designers, drone racing champions, and even a few former theme park robotics engineers. Not a single traditional military scientist among them. That was humanity's edge. They approached problems from angles the Empire never considered. In orbit, Admiral Zextal received increasingly disturbing reports. His crystalline form had taken on a permanent grayish tinge of stress. "Show me the latest defense projections," he commanded. The holographic display revealed a nightmare. Humans weren't just defending anymore. They were innovating faster than the Empire could adapt. Their hybrid technology combined Craxus principles with Earth ingenuity in ways that defied Imperial military doctrine. They'd done something impossible. Science Director Naira reported, her tentacles writhing in agitation. They've merged their primitive AI systems with salvaged Craxus tech. But instead of copying our designs, they're improving them. In the Phoenix facility, Dr. Carter's team made another breakthrough. They discovered that Craxus quantum crystals, the heart of their technology, responded to human brainwave patterns in unexpected ways. A VR gaming headset, modified with salvaged crystal fragments, allowed human operators to control Craxus systems with unprecedented precision. "It's like they never thought to try this," marveled Maya Rodriguez, the teenage hacktivist now leading the integration team. "They built their entire empire on rigid protocols, while we grew up modding games and breaking systems just to see what would happen." The first counter-strike came at dawn. A squadron of modified civilian drones, their systems hybridized with Craxus technology, swarmed an Imperial patrol fleet. The drones' control systems, evolved from video game servers, adapted faster than the Craxus ship's automated defenses could respond. "Impossible," Zextal raged as the reports came in. "Their weapons are inferior. Their technology is primitive." "No, Admiral," Naira corrected, her scientific curiosity overtaking her military discipline. "Their individual technologies might be less advanced, but their application of them is revolutionary. Look at this." The display showed human fighters using modified gaming controllers to pilot salvaged Craxus vessels. Their neural interfaces, originally designed for immersive gaming, allowed them to push the ships beyond their design capabilities. They weren't just using the technology. They were reinventing it. Dr. Sarah Chen's network had evolved too. The distributed computing system, now spanning millions of gaming rigs worldwide, had cracked the fundamental principles of Craxus quantum crystalline technology. But instead of simply copying it, they were doing something the Empire had never attempted. They were combining it with Earth's digital systems. "The crystals aren't just power sources," she explained to a global conference of scientists. "They're living technology, capable of growth and adaptation. The Empire used them like batteries. We're treating them like partners." In India, Dr. Kapoor's team had transformed their breakthrough in quantum dot shields into something more. By integrating gaming ray tracing technology with Craxus crystalline matrices, they created defensive systems that learned and evolved during battle. The Empire's rigid military doctrine had no counter for shields that adapted like living organisms or weapons that evolved like video game AI. Each engagement became a lesson, each battle data for the next innovation. Maya's global hacker network discovered something else. The Empire's communication systems were vulnerable to mimetic warfare. The same principles that made cat videos go viral could be used to disrupt Craxus command and control networks. Social media algorithms, repurposed for electronic warfare, proved devastatingly effective against Imperial cybersecurity. "They never developed psychological warfare defenses," Maya explained during a strategy session. "Their military communication is entirely logical. No emotion, no creativity. They've got no immunity to human chaos." Dr. Carter's team made perhaps the most significant breakthrough. They discovered that Craxus quantum crystals, when exposed to human creativity and emotion, developed new properties. The same technology that powered Imperial warships responded to human art, music, and imagination in ways the Empire had never imagined possible. They built their empire on control, Carter told his team as they prepared their first hybrid crystal matrix. "We'll save our world with chaos, creativity, and the one thing they never understood: The power of playing with technology just to see what happens. The counter-offensive was beginning, but it wasn't led by armies. It was driven by gamers, hackers, makers, and dreamers. The Empire had expected to crush primitive military forces. Instead, they faced something far more dangerous: human ingenuity unleashed, combining advanced alien technology with the chaos and creativity of Earth's digital culture. As the first waves of hybrid human Craxus ships launched from repurposed shopping malls and converted factories, Admiral Zextal faced a terrible realization. The Empire hadn't invaded a primitive civilization. They'd awakened a sleeping giant of technological innovation. And now that giant was turning the Empire's own weapons into something new, something that no military doctrine could have prepared them for. 6 months into the war, the Eternal Dominion's command chamber had transformed from a symbol of imperial power into a monument to failure. Admiral Zextal's crystalline form had dulled to an ashen gray as he watched humanity's counter-offensive unfold across multiple dimensional displays. "Show me the battle analysis," he commanded, his voice lacking its former authority. The holographic displays flickered, showing dozens of hybrid human Craxus ships engaging Imperial forces. But these weren't traditional battles. They were something entirely new. "They're not just using our technology," Science Director Nira observed, her tentacles moving in complex patterns of fascination and fear. "They're evolving it. Every engagement spawns new adaptations we've never seen before." The humans had done the unthinkable. They'd taken Craxus quantum crystal technology, the cornerstone of imperial power, and merged it with their chaotic, creative approach to innovation. The result was devastating. In what used to be an esports arena in Seoul, Dr. Yuki Tanaka watched as her team of former pro gamers piloted hybrid fighters using neural interfaces evolved from gaming hardware. The crystal matrices in their ships responded to human emotion and creativity in ways the Empire had never imagined possible. "It's like the crystals were waiting for us," she explained to Dr. Chen over their secure network. "The Empire treated them like machines. We treated them like living technology, and they responded." The turning point came during the Battle of Low Earth Orbit. Imperial forces, executing textbook military doctrine, faced a human defense network that defied conventional logic. Social media algorithms predicted fleet movements. Gaming servers coordinated global strategy. Civilian satellites, reprogrammed with modified TikTok viral pattern recognition, tracked Imperial ships through quantum space. Maya Rodriguez, now heading Earth's Electronic Warfare Division from her converted basement command center, launched her masterstroke, a mimetic warfare campaign, using principles derived from cat videos and dance challenges, invaded Craxus command networks. Imperial ships found their quantum communication systems overwhelmed with human creativity. Art, music, memes, and chaos. "Their systems are like their minds," Maya explained to her team of teenage hackers. "They can't handle randomness, emotion, or creativity, so we're giving them an overdose of all three." Admiral Zextal watched in horror as ship after ship went dark, their crystal matrices overwhelmed by human cultural transmissions. "This isn't warfare," he protested. "This is madness." "No," Nira corrected, her scientific curiosity now fully overshadowing her military loyalty. "This is evolution. Look at what they've done with the quantum crystals." The display showed human-modified crystals growing in patterns never seen in Imperial technology. They pulsed with color and energy, responding to human thoughts, emotions, and creativity. The Empire had used the crystals as power sources. Humans had awakened them as partners. Dr. Carter's team had made the final breakthrough. By exposing quantum crystals to human art, music, and imagination, they'd discovered the technology's true potential. The crystals weren't just tools. They were semi-sentient, capable of growth, adaptation, and response to creative input. The Empire built their technology like they built their society, Carter explained during the final briefing. Rigid, hierarchical, controlled. We showed the crystals something different: freedom, creativity, the joy of pure innovation. The results reshaped the battlefield. Human ships, their systems guided by gamers and powered by emotion-responsive crystals, moved in ways Imperial tactical computers couldn't predict. Earth's defensive networks, evolving like living organisms, adapted faster than Craxus weapons could target. In orbit, Admiral Zextal faced the ultimate decision. His fleet, once the pride of the Empire, lay in chaos. Ships didn't respond to commands. Crystal matrices pulsed with alien patterns. Some vessels had begun responding to human control signals, their technology awakening to new possibilities. "We never understood them," he admitted finally, his crystalline form reflecting the colors of defeat. "We thought their lack of military focus made them weak. Instead, it made them capable of things we never imagined." The surrender transmission went out on all frequencies, but humans had already infiltrated the Imperial networks. Maya's team translated the message into every Earth language and spread it through repurposed social media networks within seconds. In her Seattle lab, Dr. Chen watched the victory unfold on screens that had once displayed game development metrics. "We didn't just beat them," she observed to her team. "We showed them a new way of thinking." The war ended not with a traditional victory, but with transformation. The Empire's rigid military doctrine shattered against human adaptability. Their controlled technology awakened to creative possibilities. They had come to conquer what they thought was a primitive civilization, only to find themselves revolutionized by humanity's chaos, creativity, and unrelenting drive to reimagine the possible. As the Imperial fleet withdrew, they left behind more than a failed invasion. They carried with them a fundamental truth. True power lies not in the strength of weapons, but in the ability to adapt, create, and imagine new possibilities. Humanity hadn't just defended Earth. They had shown the galaxy a new way to evolve. Dr. Chen's final report summed it up perfectly. The Empire thought they were superior because they had perfected their technology. "We proved stronger because we never stopped reinventing ours. They came to teach us about power. Instead, we taught them about innovation." The stars gleamed differently now, filled with possibilities that even the Empire had never dreamed of. Humanity stood ready, not as a military power, but as pioneers of a new way of thinking about technology, creativity, and the infinite potential of imagination unleashed.